So in this video, I'm going to share with you a framework that I have developed over decades in the research and analysis I've done for the books that I've written and for the executive MBA and MBA classes that I've taught around the world. But more importantly, that I have actually utilized in implementations and pilots and experiments that we've done in actual corporations, major corporations, governments, and fast-moving organizations like yours, to really determine which strategies work and which strategies don't work. As part of this process, we've really been able to see what works, and for certain things that haven't worked, why they haven't worked. So for example, I ran the innovation team at a major bank for a couple of years, and it was absolutely clear what approaches would get us to the end of job of having a successful implementation, a successful innovation launched across the organization. So in this video called Pathway to Growth in a Slow Economy, we're really going to take a look at the framework that will give you the step-by-step guide for how to proceed. The whole goal is to really reduce your frustrations and really focus on the things that you should be focusing on. As part of this program as well, we're going to be creating a PowerPoint deck that you will customize for your organization that will enable you even to meet with your team and create your own workshop to really determine which parts of the framework are important and how they can affect your decisions and strategies going forward. So I developed this framework because time and time again I saw so many companies implementing a strategy that were simply based on some executive bias or executive comment that was made, or to copycat competitors, rather than a really thoughtful process of understanding your target market and who you're trying to reach and what would work best for them. So the key to all that is really taking a look at creating a logical strategy going forward without the mistakes that many other companies have made in the past. So you're probably wondering how I got to the point that I'm at in introducing this framework to you. So after decades of writing books and teaching at the MBA and executive MBA level and working in a corporate environment for 35 years, helping organizations achieve those business objectives and implementing business model innovation, I really noticed that a lot of organizations and people in those organizations were really facing the same issues time and time again. One was the major pressure that each of you gets, which is basically that it's the pressure to achieve daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly results. Very little time to do forward thinking, but focusing on those short-term results. And secondly is the lack of time and resources and skill sets that are available to you. So we had to take a look at what these major issues that people are facing and determine how to turn that around and let people step back a bit to really be more forward-looking and determining what that next breakthrough is going to be to help propel your organization forward to beat competitors, gain market share, and be a leader in your industry. So you wouldn't be watching this if you weren't an executive or a manager that was really interested in put in place some breakthrough thinking that will help you and your organization be successful. So as a result of that, let's get into the framework that will really start to give you an understanding of how to move forward and be successful. So you're watching Pathway to Grow in a Slow Economy. We're really going to now take a closer look at the framework that we believe every organization should look at in order to form the basis for creating a successful strategy going forward. So step one is really taking a look at a market forces analysis that will really look at what market forces are affecting your company, your industry, and your marketplace going forward, so that you can determine whether those market forces are potential landmines, a big negative impact on your company, or potential gold mines, a potential opening for you to succeed. So in this area of market forces analysis, we have to look very specifically at things like technology and how it's going to impact your environment. Things like demographic changes that might affect your path going forward. What about the political and legal environment? So things like that, as you take a closer look at it, the goal is, as I mentioned, to look at potential positive and negative impacts that will affect your strategy. Another area that you need to look at, which is the next step, is taking a look at a competitive analysis. Most companies, of course, will look at direct competitors, but what about those competitors that are coming out of left field? So a taxi company might look at other taxi company competitors, but of course they might have missed Uber coming in out of left field and really taking over a large portion of their industry. So competitive analysis is another key thing we need to look at. Next is target market analysis. What are the key target market segments that your organization is targeting? What are the needs and pain points of those target markets? And how are you able to address those needs? And are you able to do it better than competitors, or are competitors succeeding at doing a better job than you? Once you look at those existing target market segments, you really now have to ask the question, are those the right target market segments, or is it now time for your organization to explore entirely new target market segments? So that's a key decision point that you need to think about there. Once you identify those target market segments, both the ones you already serve and new ones that you want to address, now you should be doing a SWOT analysis and looking at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in terms of your organization's ability to meet the needs of each of those target market segments. Because that might determine that you really can't serve one of those target market segments, or wow, there's a huge opportunity for you to go full force into a new target market segment. Next on the list, of course, is taking a look at your ability to have that new innovation you're bringing to the market, having it accepted into the marketplace. And we sometimes refer to this as the diffusion of innovation. And most companies will do some of the steps to properly have their innovation accepted into the marketplace. And they do that by creating a really strong value proposition that really resonates with their target audience. You then create a bunch of proof that you can serve those needs. So that could be references or quotes or things like that that really prove that you can do what you're saying you can do. And then finally, the ability to convince your customers that they need to take action now. And here's why they need to take action now. So most companies get a few of those steps right. But one of the early steps that companies don't take a close enough look at is really to try to resonate with people's core beliefs. And if you can do that, your strategy of having that innovation accepted into the marketplace can be much more successful, and you'll have a much more powerful messaging. For example, there's an organization that sells prescription glasses, but rather than just telling you they have the best features or the best bifocals or sun ray blocking or whatever it is that they might offer, there's a particular organization that sells prescription glasses that says, and you know what, our core belief is that every single person in the world should be able to have glasses, even billions of people in third world countries. So what they've done is they've appealed to people's core beliefs and said, for every pair of glasses you buy, we're going to donate a pair to someone in need in a third world country. Wow, that's really powerful, because now they're really going to my core beliefs. They're really appealing to my core beliefs that, boy, I wish other people could see well also. And someone in a third world country that may not be able to afford glasses now can get a pair of glasses. So really, it's important for you to understand that you're achieving all four of those steps: appealing to core beliefs, creating a solid value proposition that's better than what the competitors can offer, offering solid proof that you can deliver, and then finally convincing people they have to take action now. Once you have done that, you now have a good framework and basis for moving forward, and it's now time to close off this section with a really solid action plan of how you're going to achieve this objective. So this literally has to be line by line. Who in your organization is going to be responsible for what are they going to do, what date are they going to do it by, and now that you start putting that solid action plan in place, you can really achieve the objective that we set out at the beginning, was to start achieving results and start implementing your projects within the next 90 days. So all of those steps are really critical in moving forward, and we really hope you're able to use the PowerPoint that's provided with this video series in order for you to create the answer to all of those questions. Create a PowerPoint deck that you can then bring to your team in your organization and really flesh out the rest of the strategy in terms of what the positioning should be, what will work, what won't work, what are the pitfalls, how can you get around them, how can you surpass competitors, and finally closing off with a solid action plan of achieving results in the next 90 days. And that's what I hope you can achieve with this video. So the purpose of this video, Pathway to Growth in a Slow Economy, is really to make sure that you're not stuck in a business rut where it's just business as usual, but you're really able to focus on entirely new strategies, entirely new thinking, entirely new targets that you want to go after. And as a result of that, create a strategy that makes more sense for your organization to succeed in a tough economy. So as part of this, what we're going to provide you is we're going to provide you the framework in a PowerPoint, but it's up to you to really complete that framework in terms of the specifics of your company and your industry and your marketplace to really determine what your gold mines and landmines may be. The real power of having created that PowerPoint is you will then be able to meet with your entire team and put together a 1 hour or a 1 day workshop where you will actually sit down and go over all of these market forces, go over these potential landmines and gold mines, and get their input into what they think really is the best path going forward. So it can really be a powerful tool for you to use to get your entire team on board with a framework that will form the basis for your strategy going forward. So once you complete this first step, which is doing your end-to-end assessment of market forces and your target positioning in the marketplace, the real key step after that is to start putting a series of tactics in place that you can actually implement in the next 90 days to start your strategy going forward. The important aspects of that strategy is A, understanding your customers and employee pain points so you can determine what you should be addressing, understanding how technology can be used to propel your vision going forward, determining what type of innovation you can implement from product and services innovation right through to very intensive business model innovation, and then finally determining best where you can succeed most in the sales cycle. Should you be targeting the early awareness and branding stages? Should you be trying to move people through the sales cycle? Should you be trying to do commerce transactions? And finally, should you focus on post-sales customer support? So there's a lot of questions that you need to decide upon for your organization, and that will form the basis for your strategy going forward. So that step really forms the basis of the next video that we're going to talk about, which is really accelerating your innovation strategy going forward.